This video covers how to connect your HinksPix Pro directly to your PC's network connection. See our other videos if you are connecting your HinksPix to your local network. To access the web interface and to configure the controller using applications like Xlights, you do need to have this device connected to your network. Please note that Wi-Fi shown here will not allow you to access the web interface. A direct wired connection, as we have here, is required to be able to configure the controller. In this particular configuration, I am using Windows 11. And I have a direct network connection with a network interface on the PC that I'm going to connect directly to this particular controller. When the controller boots up, it is by default going to attempt to obtain a DHCP address. That is where the controller goes out to the network, asks for an IP address to be assigned from a router, switch, or something like that. Well, when you have this controller directly connected to your PC, it cannot obtain such an IP address from DHCP. As a result, by factory default, this controller will come up with 10.10.10.10 as the IP address. Now, we may be able to use that, and that depends on a variety of factors, which we'll go over here in just a moment. So the first step is to kind of really figure out what we have. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the command prompt for Windows, and we'll just do a little bit of looking. Here I've launched the command prompt. You can find that in the Start menu or by typing Start, Run, and then typing the letters CMD, Charles Mary David. All right, now that we have this interface, we can type the command ipconfig. And what we see here is that this PC is configured with two network adapters. They have similar addresses, but they are different. You will see that this adapter here, Ethernet adapter 3, has an address of 10.10.10.1 and a subnet mask of 255.255.250. Now, here we have a IP address. This is our local network here in the business, and this is 10.0.70.66, and it has a gateway also. So this is the connection that we are using to access to go to the internet. This would commonly be a Wi-Fi connection on most computers. In this particular computer, this is a desktop that is not set up with Wi-Fi. This adapter, Ethernet adapter 3, is our wired connection that we're going to use directly to the controller. Now, this may be something that's built into your computer if you have a larger computer, or if you have a laptop. It's common that they do not come with Ethernet connections, and you may have to purchase a Ethernet to USB adapter. So it's an adapter that's usually about 10 or 15 US dollars, and it plugs into your USB port and then provides you an Ethernet connection. Now, this method is preferred in the sense that it does mean that the data is going directly from your PC to the controller, that there's no other possible interference along the way. So we don't have to deal with any kind of network switches, interrupting traffic, and that kind of thing. All right, so we know that in this particular case, this address is 10.10.10.10, and the subnet is 255.255.255. Here is the control panel. So we're in control panel. Just type Start and then the words control panel. That'll bring up networking. Go to networking and internet. We're going to go over here to change adapter settings. Here are the different adapters. Now you can see that I do have a Wi-Fi that is currently disabled. That would be typically what would be connected to your home network. Now, see our other videos if you are connecting to your controller via the Wi-Fi through your local network. Okay, so we've established that this is the device that we're going to be connecting with. Now, in our particular case, most corporate networks will have a different type of addressing, and our address is a 10.0 addressing scheme. In your house, it will typically be a 192.168.1 something or another. All right, now, what we need to do is make sure that these do not conflict with one another in their subnet masks. So what we're going to do is just come up here, go Properties of that. I'm just right-clicking and then selecting Properties. And then I'm going to here, TCP/IP version 4, clicking Properties, and I've set the IP address. So because the controller by default will use the 10.10.10.10 address, we cannot use that address. Each device on your network must have a unique address. Do not set your PC to the same address as your controller or vice versa. So in this particular case, I've decided to go ahead and set my IP address as 10.10.10.1. And the subnet mask must match, which it does for this controller. And I've got a default gateway that just happens to be the controller itself. That could actually be blank. This information down here could also be blank too. It does not need to be populated. Now, when I do that, it may say multiple gateways. That's perfectly fine in this particular case. And the next thing we would do is, now that we have the network cable right here, so this network cable, and by the way, you could plug this into either jack. Note that there should be a light on. See the orange or amber light? That indicates that there is a link occurring to the controller. That means that there is a good network connection between those two devices, the PC and the controller. Now, it doesn't matter which one you plug this into. You'll see that it actually says input and output. It really actually doesn't matter, and you can move them easily between them. Now, you most likely have a controller that has the connections down here on the bottom, and you can plug it into either of those jacks. Here, I'm just making it clear as to which one I'm plugging it into. So here we've plugged it into this one, and you can see that we've got a orange light. The green light indicates the data going across the network. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and press this button to wake up the display again. And you can again see that the IP address is 10.10.10.10. Great. So everything is looking good here. So let's go back to our PC and we'll just do a ping. A ping is where you're sending out some data to the controller and you're saying, hey, are you there? And so we do this in the command prompt. So we'll just type ping and then we're going to put in the IP address of the controller. And we can see that that is responding. So let's go ahead. I'm going to add a -t command, which just makes this command continuously happen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the network connection. So I have disconnected this network, so there's now no connection to the controller. So there's no data going to it. And we can now see that it's not reachable. I will go ahead and plug in the network connection again. Now this is a great tool to make sure that we are actually able to reach the controller in question. Now when you plug your network connection in, it may take a few seconds for the PC and the controller to synchronize and establish a new network connection. So give it a couple of seconds before pronouncing it not working. Okay, so once we get our network connection up and running again here, what we're going to do is go ahead and switch over to the web interface on the controller. And we'll just go in and type in here. Give me just 1 second here. We're still waiting for it to come back up. A little bit longer than normal. And here we go. Now it's up and operating again. So what we've done is we've gone in and we've put in the web address here and we just typed http://10.10.10.10, and then this brings up our interface. Now, if you should need to be able to change the network address, you can change the network IP address from the button interface. See our other video for how to do that. You can also change networking settings under the web interface once you have already connected to it, and you can go in here. In this particular case, we've got enabled DHCP. We can turn that off and then put in a specific IP address if you should need to be able to do that. Okay, and just as a reminder, wireless is not used to configure this controller. You must have a wired connection. We hope this has been helpful, and if you have any problems with your setup, always feel free to reach out to Holiday Coro at holidaycoro.com/contact us.